The philosophy of thoughts is a complex and multifaceted area of inquiry that explores the nature, origin, and implications of human thinking. Philosophers have long been fascinated by the way thoughts influence our perception of reality, our decision-making processes, and ultimately, our understanding of existence itself. This exploration delves into various philosophical disciplines, including metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, and philosophy of mind, each offering unique insights into the significance of thought in human life. At its core, the philosophy of thoughts raises fundamental questions about the nature of reality. What is the relationship between our thoughts and the external world? Are thoughts merely reflections of the world around us, or do they actively shape our experience of reality? This inquiry has roots in the works of ancient philosophers such as Plato, who posited the existence of ideal forms and argued that the physical world is a mere shadow of a higher reality. According to Plato, true knowledge comes from understanding these forms through intellectual contemplation rather than sensory experience. In contrast, the empiricist tradition, represented by philosophers like John Locke and David Hume, emphasizes the role of sensory experience in shaping thoughts. Locke argued that the mind is a tabula rasa, or blank slate, at birth, and that all knowledge is derived from experience. This perspective suggests that thoughts are constructed from the raw material of sensory inputs, which are processed and synthesized by the mind. Hume further challenged the notion of causality, suggesting that our thoughts about cause and effect are merely habits of thought based on patterns observed in experience, rather than inherent connections in the world. The philosophy of thoughts also encompasses the nature of consciousness and self-awareness. René Descartes famously declared, "Cogito, ergo sum, I think, therefore I am," highlighting the centrality of thought in establishing self-identity. For Descartes, the act of thinking is proof of existence and a foundation for epistemological certainty. His dualistic framework separates the mind and body, leading to ongoing debates about the relationship between mental and physical states. This dualism raises questions about whether thoughts can exist independently of a physical substrate or whether they are inherently tied to the brain's biological processes. In contemporary philosophy, the philosophy of mind has gained prominence as a distinct area of study. Philosophers such as Daniel Dennett and John Searle have explored the nature of consciousness, cognition, and the relationship between thoughts and neural processes. Dennett, for instance, advocates for a functionalist view, suggesting that mental states, including thoughts, are defined by their functional roles rather than by their physical composition. This perspective challenges traditional notions of consciousness and suggests that thoughts can arise from complex systems, not limited to human brains. The philosophy of thoughts also intersects with ethics, particularly in the realm of moral reasoning and decision-making. The ways in which individuals think about moral dilemmas can significantly influence their ethical beliefs and actions. Philosophers such as Immanuel Kant emphasize the role of rational thought in ethical decision-making, advocating for a deontological approach that prioritizes duty and principles over consequences. Kant's categorical imperative posits that moral actions must be universally applicable, requiring individuals to engage in rational reflection about the moral implications of their thoughts and actions. Conversely, utilitarian philosophers like John Stuart Mill argue that the consequences of actions should guide moral reasoning. This consequentialist approach emphasizes the importance of weighing the outcomes of our thoughts and decisions in determining their ethical value. The tension between these two perspectives underscores the complexity of moral thought and the ways in which our thinking can shape ethical frameworks. Moreover, the philosophy of thoughts engages with existential and phenomenological inquiries, examining how thoughts inform our understanding of existence and experience. Existentialists such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Martin Heidegger emphasize the importance of individual consciousness and the subjective experience of being. For Sartre, consciousness is characterized by intentionality, meaning that our thoughts are always directed towards something, whether it be objects, ideas, or experiences. This intentionality shapes our perception of reality and our engagement with the world. Heidegger, on the other hand, explores the notion of being and the role of thought in our understanding of existence. He argues that our thinking is rooted in our situatedness within the world and that language plays a crucial role in shaping our thoughts and experiences. For Heidegger, the essence of human existence is intertwined with our capacity for thought, as it allows us to question our place in the world and confront the nature of being itself. The philosophy of thoughts also encompasses the role of language in shaping thought. Linguistic philosophers like Ludwig Wittgenstein argue that the structure of language influences the way we think and perceive reality. Wittgenstein's later work emphasizes the idea that the limits of our language are the limits of our world, suggesting that our thoughts are constrained by the language we use to express them. This perspective raises questions about the relationship between thought and communication and the ways in which language shapes our understanding of the world. In addition to these philosophical inquiries, the psychology of thought has emerged as a significant field of study that complements philosophical investigations. Cognitive psychology examines the processes underlying thought, including perception, memory, problem-solving, and decision-making. This intersection between philosophy and psychology highlights the empirical study of thought processes, providing insights into how humans think, reason, and interact with the world. Cognitive biases, as identified by psychologists, further illustrate the complexities of thought. These biases, such as confirmation bias or availability heuristic, reveal the ways in which our thinking can be distorted by cognitive shortcuts or emotional influences. Philosophers have engaged with these findings to explore the implications for rationality, knowledge, and moral decision-making. The recognition of cognitive biases challenges the notion of objective reasoning and invites deeper reflections on the nature of human thought. As we navigate the philosophy of thoughts, we also confront the ethical implications of our thinking. The ways in which we conceptualize and articulate our thoughts can have profound consequences for individuals and society. Philosophers have grappled with the responsibilities that come with thought, particularly in the context of free speech, propaganda, and the dissemination of ideas. The philosopher Hannah Arendt emphasized the importance of critical thinking and reflection in confronting totalitarianism, highlighting the potential dangers of unexamined thoughts and beliefs.